Welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for the support. On my channel, I like to give my opinion and perspective on things that are happening today, things that I think actually matter to everyday people, especially those of us trying to raise kids in the insanity known as today's society. I do like to talk about current events and politics, and my perspective does tend to be more on the conservative side of things. Please be sure to like this video, leave a comment below, and also share it with others. Also, be sure you are subscribed. Help me to grow the channel and hopefully reach more people that value logic, reason, and sanity. Also, be sure to find me on Rumble under Outspoken Samantha in the event that YouTube decides I have violated their community standards and chooses to kick me off their platform forever. That being said, let's get into today's topic. So I wanted to just briefly touch on this idea of discrimination and the fact that there's the actual definition of discrimination, and then there's the woke definition of discrimination. You and I know what discrimination means. It's the, unfair treatment of somebody or making a judgment or decision on somebody based on their age or their sexual orientation or their race or even their parental status. You can discriminate against somebody in employment because you think they're too old or too young, regardless of their qualifications or whether or not they're suited for the job. Or you can make those same judgments on somebody based on their sexual orientation or if they have a disability or anything like that. Even, you can discriminate against someone based on their status as a parent. If there's somebody that is qualified for a job or qualified for whatever, and you make a decision because they are a parent, they have kids, and they have other responsibilities at home that you are, you don't want to have to risk those personal responsibilities interfering with their performance in the workplace. So, of course, there's religious discrimination and pregnancy discrimination. There's all these things. We know what actual discrimination is, but we know that when the woke left talks about discrimination, we know that that's not what they're talking about, because they know that as a society in general, most of us, sane, moral people are against discrimination. We want people to have job opportunities and housing opportunities and opportunities for benefits, and we want people to be treated fairly, based on who they are as a person, not, because of any of these other factors or making judgments based on these individual characteristics or these singular characteristics is what I meant to say. And we can create laws that protect against discrimination, but we can't, create laws that regulate, how individual people feel, because we know that, there are going to be people that discriminate for whatever reason. There's going to be people that are racist for whatever reason. We can't regulate people's feelings, but we can protect against discrimination. Again, most people are against discrimination. They're not discriminatory. But again, when the woke left talks about discrimination, that's not what they're talking about. What the woke left likes to do is to take situations, take issues, take things that they know that most moral people are going to oppose, and then they like to try to normalize that thing by calling it tolerance and acceptance, or calling it diversity and inclusion, or calling it equity, or whatever you want to call it. To make it sound like it's something for the good of society. And then when, of course, it incites an outcry or opposition, as it would, because, they're taking something that most sane and moral people will oppose and trying to make it normal. So when that opposition happens, they say they're being discriminatory. And of course, they always point to the LGBTQ community. They always point to gay and queer people and say that this is a discriminatory thing against you. How does that make any sense at all? It's with this whole drag queen story hour situation that's been going on for far too long. When far left activists who pretend to be teachers and pretend to be experts in education somehow end up in our classrooms teaching our kids, when they started putting drag queens into school libraries for story times, they knew that parents would oppose it. They absolutely knew. They knew that sane and moral people would say, that's not okay. They would draw a line, and they absolutely knew that parents would oppose it, because most parents, most of us try to protect our children, try to protect their innocence, try to create boundaries, and that we understand that they are not little adults, and that there's only so many things or so much content or material, that they are ready to handle. And at a young age, they cannot handle the things that adults can handle. So we try to guard that path and to guide that path in an age appropriate way. So they knew that this would be something that we oppose. And of course they hijacked the gay community, and they said they're not opposing it because they are against drag queens, or because they're trying to do what's right and wrong. They're just opposed to you. Like, they're just opposed to the gay community. Like, they're just trying to keep you away from kids because they think you're a threat and a danger, and that you're going to harm their kids in some way. So, they created a situation that they knew we would stand up against. And then when we did, they used that as a situation to say they're discriminating against you. They hate you. They don't want you to exist. And it's absolutely insane, because my opposition to drag queens hanging out with kids has absolutely nothing to do with sexual orientation. I don't care if you're straight, don't care if you're gay, don't care what your sexual preferences are, none of that. Don't care. My position is the fact that kids' innocence needs to be protected, and my job as a parent, especially as a parent to my own children, is to protect them and to guide them and to parent them. And you imposing this lifestyle and, stuff that I would never expose them to, that probably most adults haven't been exposed to, is inappropriate, and it's not okay. And it's weird because 5 minutes ago, we all agreed that drag queens, that their characters, their themes, their costume, their music, their shows, all of it is sexually explicit. We all knew this. We knew drag queen shows were happening. We knew that these things were going on, but it wasn't something that people were opposing on a wide scale. The parents that are opposing Drag Queen Story Hour, it's not like they're showing up at venues and bars where drag queen shows are happening for adults and protesting them and trying to get them shut down and trying to take their rights away to live their lifestyle. It's just when the left has tried to normalize this thing, we're bringing this entertainment profession that 5 minutes ago was completely for adults, and trying to erase that boundary and erase that line and bring it into our child's school library, that they try to normalize this thing that we said, this is not okay. This is not okay. But of course, they point to the gay community and say, this is about you. I hope they're talking about you. They're talking about all of the things that they're saying it's against you. Which is also interesting, because drag queens are not a representation of the gay community. They're not a representation of the LGBTQ community. They're a small portion of that community. And I wouldn't even say, I don't know that much about drag queens. I wouldn't even say that all drag queens are gay or queer or trans. I have no idea. There's probably a good chance, but there are probably some straight drag queens. I don't know. But they're not a representation of that community, just like strippers are not a representation of the straight community or the heterosexual community. That's an insane thing to put out there or to imply. So again, they're allowed to, nobody's trying to take away their right to live their lives the way that they want to live their lives. It's when the woke left decided to erase this boundary and say that, children's innocence isn't worth protecting, and that allowing this sexually explicit imagery and entertainment stuff come into the library. And it's when they tried to say that that was okay. And we said, no, it's not. But But again, they created this situation. They moved the goalposts and saying like, we're going to change the rules. We're going to say that this is now okay for kids. And if you don't like it, you're discriminatory, you're hateful, and you're bigoted, which is absolutely crazy, because my opposition to grown adults that have a sexually explicit profession hanging out with little kids has nothing to do with sexuality, nothing to do with their sexual orientation, nothing to do with what they do in their personal lives. It's the fact that that's not what I want for my kids. And it's my right as a parent to determine that, and you trying to force that into my child's classroom is imposing on my rights as a parent. I wouldn't be okay with it if it was, Mr. Jones down the hall who has a Bible in his desk and a Christian wife at home, if he were the one talking to my kids about sexuality, any more than I would be if instead of the drag queen today, we're going to have a stripper come in and read the storybook to the kids. It's not okay. And but the left likes to take these things and to create a situation, like I said, where they know people are going to get upset. They know that parents are going to show up on the masses. They're going to bring out that mama bear and papa bear reaction to kids. And then the opposition happens, and then they say it's against them. And if I were gay or trans, I would be really offended if every time there was this issue brought up of sexually explicit material being introduced to kids, or adults wanting to talk to kids about sexuality, or the issue of grooming, or whatever it is, anytime that this issue was brought up, that there was this group of people that constantly said, they're talking about you. Like, this is about you. Like, when they say groomer, like, they mean you. It's like nobody but the left, the woke activist left, nobody but them is associating the word gay with groomer. It's almost at this point like they think that the two words are like synonymous with each other. Whereas the rest of us are going, no, because not all groomers are gay, and not all gay people are groomers. Like, there are straight groomers, there are straight people that prey on children, and we understand that to be a fact. We understand that there are these people that exist in society. So to stand up and say, when you say groomer, you're talking about gay people, is completely insane. So I'm just saying, it doesn't seem to be something that the left understands. But, like I said, they keep moving the goalposts, they keep changing the rules, they keep, trying to eliminate boundaries between what is and is not okay with kids. And they know full well that parents are going to come out, en masse, that they're going to show up in large numbers, and they're going to stand up against this, and they manipulate that situation, and they use it to pretend that we have this discrimination issue, that we have this issue where a bunch of people are trying to eliminate gay and trans people from society, which is completely insane. So I just wanted to touch on that, because I know that they make it frustrating. They make it so frustrating because we're being, there's all this gaslighting going on to make it feel like, I keep repeating myself. I keep saying that, no, I am not trying to eliminate gay people. I have nothing against gay people. I have, nothing against trans people or the queer community or how people want to live their lives, especially as grown adults. You want to make those decisions. You want the freedom to do so, by all means. And I keep, and you keep hearing from the left, like, they hate you, they want to eliminate your existence, and it's almost like you're shouting and saying, that is not what I'm saying, that is not what I mean, that is not what I'm implying, that is not my position, that is not my belief system. And it's almost like shouting into, it's almost like having a glass wall, like you're yelling as loud as you can to say, that is not what I mean, that is not what I'm saying, and nobody's hearing you. It's like you're speaking as loud as you possibly can, and it's like completely silent, and they just keep saying, that their position is that they hate you, or that they want to discriminate against you, or keep you out of society, or deny you rights and things like that, which is just so crazy. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. It's just something that I know we all deal with on a daily basis. I know it because as they change the definition of words and try to flip things around to just turn society into this total chaotic mess, we're still operating on the actual definition of things. And it's like, I know that I'm not racist. I know that I'm not bigoted. I know that I'm not discriminatory. I know that I'm none of these things. And yet they keep, every time I simply say, I have a right to raise my kids the way that I see fit. I have a right to guide these private conversations, these, sensitive topics with my children. That is my right as a parent. And to constantly be hearing back, not even hearing back because they're not directing it at me. They're just like shouting at this guy that these people are racist and hateful. And it's maddening sometimes. So I just wanted to touch on that. Leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Please like this video. Please share it. And also, again, be sure you're subscribed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.